I would like to say, okay, I would like to say, hey, what's up, everybody? Get in here. Welcome back to my corner of the internet. Thank y'all again for coming back for another one. And just showing your girl some love. Like, subscribe if you like my other videos that were on my page, because there'll be a lot more to come. And trust me, I will be consistent as life and God's will let me. Okay. Welcome back. I am here to talk about my goddamn fucking mommy issues. What a fun topic. What a fun topic and whatnot. But I feel like it's a topic that's often goes under discussed. And I don't really see a lot of discourse online on individuals, especially women, especially Black women, that have severe mommy issues. I always hear about self-esteem issues, of course, and there are endless topics or endless discussions on all of those topics. And as there should be an abundance and endless topics of discussion when it comes to that. However, I don't really see a lot of conversations around the mentally crippling and damaging outcomes that happen with when you don't have a positive, supportive, and present mother figure in your life, and how much it takes away from your quality of life, and how you unintentionally, just like how when it comes to daddy issues, we unintentionally go about seeking out parental figures, and in this case, and in my case, mother figures in your life in all the wrong places. And you end up with a severe wound, or rather a void that goes unfilled, because the one true love that you really needed in your life or need in your life is the love of a mother, which is something that's very hard to replace. And I just want to talk about a little bit of my experience with my mother wound, my mommy issues, and then just provide individuals with some tips that you can take in order to really navigate just growing throughout life into, adulthood without having a maternal figure in your life to support you, guide you, and if anything, even try to give you tips on how to navigate life. Not tell you how to do life, but how to navigate life, right? Through my own experience, because even I'm trying really hard to stick to these tips, and some of them do work for me. Some of them I'm trying to make it work for me. And of course, with time really is the healer of wounds and whatnot. But, getting into my personal experiences with my mother, unfortunately, I dealt with a parent. I still deal with a parent that has a mental disability and now a physical disability. And unfortunately, it really handicapped their ability to be a mature individual in my life that actually would, take care of me, because you put me on this planet. I didn't put myself on this planet. We're glad we're here, though. We're glad we're here. But yes, you put me on this planet with no goddamn guidance or support. So going all the way back towards really my childhood of, my mom kind of just waned all throughout her life and just decided, hey, I want to have a kid. And she met my father and they were like, okay, let's have some kids. So I was the first out of all. So I was really the experiment. Shout out to all the oldest firstborn daughters in this world. I feel it. I hear it. I understand. I understand your pain and whatnot. And I'm here to let you know that no, you're not bugging and you're not alone. And I hear it when it comes to the amount of responsibility that is bestowed onto you, because you are not only the firstborn, but you are a daughter. Okay. So yeah, it really stemmed from growing up, my, parents having me. My father ended up passing away at a very young age. I felt like he was more so the stable and headstrong and securely attached parent when it came to being in touch with reality. And my mom really wasn't. She kind of just kept winging things and just hoped that things would just work out, / would lean on other individuals or government entities to kind of just step in and do the parenting and the caretaking for her. If you know, you know, I am a welfare baby. I'm a Section 8 baby. I'm a food stamps baby. And it raised me and got me thus far up into my little, if you want to call it, middle class life and whatnot. But yeah, so my father ended up passing, and my mother was, a single mom, single parent, and had to end up really raising me and my other two siblings. And it was rough as an understatement. We grew up in the nitty-gritty streets of New York in the some would say called the slums on the South Side, and nothing came to us easy. And I kind of had to struggle all throughout life and kind of figure out things on my own because my mother was not really present with me. She ended up having me. She had my brother. She was struggling enough with us, especially with my father's recent passing and her being a single mother. Still trying to get up on her feet. She ends up getting pregnant again with my youngest brother, and that's where the struggle really, really did start. So it started getting really worse when as far as the neglect goes and just the lack of awareness and whatnot when my youngest brother was born. That's my baby though. That's my baby. And big gift to this world. However, my mother really started to notice that she was moving a little bit too fast throughout life with my father's passing and my brother's birth being within the same year. And my mother ended up going into severe postpartum after she had my youngest brother and ended up having a traumatic episode in front of us where and this is kind of graphic, so disclaimer, but my mother went into a traumatic episode in the sense where she thought that individuals were coming to kill her and me and all my siblings, and ended up grabbing all of the sharp objects throughout the house and throwing them on the bed with a newborn baby and locking two other children under 10 years old into a room. And we literally started to see her go manic, shouting, screaming, thinking that people were there when there were voices in her head. Luckily, my youngest brothers became aware of it because she had called him and let him know, like, hey, like, I'm bugging out. Um, essentially calm her down. And they ended up checking her into the mental hospital. And my mom was gone for a good 3 to 4 months, if not that. So yeah, didn't end up having my younger years for a few months with a newborn baby. And now I have to deal with a man who is regarded as a stranger to me, my younger brother's father. I didn't know him. My mom randomly just, kind of got with him while my father was on his deathbed. And, my father had passed. I was still mourning that. And I also was mourning at the same time that I was in gratitude. I was mourning my father while I was in gratitude of my little baby brother being born. And that is a very wild ass feeling to feel as a child under 10 who's still trying to process and understand life and is looking for their maternal figure, their mother, for guidance. And their mom is not in their right goddamn mind to offer anything. So my mother ends up coming back from the hospital and she ends up soaking even more into her depression years and years moving forward. Fast forward 3, 4 years in, my mom is still in a horrible depression. She barely gets out of bed. She barely interacts with us. She barely is really present. She kind of is just always laid in bed, on her gluttony flow, watching her soap operas and kind of begging us to come to her room and come to her bed in order to even get any type of acknowledgement towards her. That went on for another few years, and then things got progressively even more worse as my youngest brother's father was not pleased with the fact of her being still in this, 4 or 5 year long depression and voicing his frustrations in a physical way in which it caused great harm mentally, physically, and sexually to me and my brother, not his youngest son, of course. He never put any hands on him. He has no indications of being in any type of harm, but to me and my brother, unfortunately. And that led towards me never being really home. Now, I wasn't a problem child, but because I was never home and people didn't really know what I was up to and what I was doing, and the activities that were not of the same activities that my peers were up to, which was straight negativity that I didn't want to associate with because I wanted to go places in life and not end up like a statistic. People just assumed the worst because I wasn't home. They just assumed that I was doing God knows what, right? Out with, hoodlums and doing something strange for change when I actually was in drama school. I was in drama class. I was in art class. I ran track. And then eventually I started working because my mom was not able to support and take care of me as I got older. So not only did her presence decline, right, as far as showing up and being active for me and standing up for me and my siblings when it came to the abuse, when it came to a lack of support in school or studies, or even when it came to just giving us advice and telling her that she loves us and giving us a hug and a kiss. That was barely ever received growing up. My mom also couldn't take care of me anymore. So I had to make sure at the age of 16 that I was able to feed myself, that I was able to clothe myself and that I was able to pay for any other things that I needed, such as, like, say, for example, if I wanted to go on a school trip or if I wanted to get a dress for my prom, which I didn't end up being able to do, or if I wanted to go on to my even to my graduation, like even get my hair done or my nails done for my graduation, or even buy a ticket for my graduation because you had to buy spare tickets for family members to come. And I was responsible for doing all of that. I was responsible for everything. So this led me at the tender age of 17, leaving and finding my own way. And where there's will, there's way. Where there's a will, there's a way, and also God and all of my ancestors really guiding me throughout the lack of support and just the loneliness that I experienced as an adolescent, and not really being able to relate to my peers more so as well because they had parental figures in their lives and they didn't have to worry about where their next meal was coming from, and they didn't have to worry about stacking up money to find their own place, and they didn't have to worry about having funds for transportation or who's going to sign their FAFSA letters for college, or, they didn't have to worry about any of that. So I experienced great neglect and abuse, and then so and so forth, right? So now, the current stage of me trying to set boundaries when it comes to my mother, because now she is in a better headspace and she's more aware, and she is, or at least trying to be a little bit more aware of herself. And I get the feeling that she feels very regretful on how things went with our childhood and how we grew up and how she wasn't really too present, and probably wishes that she can turn back the time. But instead of acknowledging that and apologizing so we can move forward, she decides that she would like to, I guess, pass over it, breeze over it, and just act like it didn't happen and try to be present in me and my siblings' lives because we're doing better for ourselves and we didn't turn out to be the statistic that they said that we would be for whatever reason. And when I mean they, I mean her and my little brother's father, her boyfriend. They were very, very verbally abusive towards us and would really basically just prey on our own downfall, on their own children, on their own child's like downfall. It was weird as. But yeah, so this leads me as an adult now to be taking boundaries, or to be setting boundaries, and to put in these little tactics, or if you will, strategies, in order for me to preserve my mental health and not feel like I need to put on my cape and save a relationship that didn't care to be saved from the very beginning, and to also just stay more grounded and rooted in my own professional development, in my own personal development, I should say. And the first one, as I kind of mentioned it already, setting boundaries, which is really, really hard to do when people try to gaslight you into, oh, I'm your mother. You should be picking up the phone and calling me every single day and taking me out for tea. And we should be talking about everything between the bee's knees and stuff like that, especially when you were not present in my youthful years. So what I do is I set boundaries. I also really, really pride y'all in setting boundaries, not only when it comes to your parental figure that causes any type of gaslighting or mental harm to you, but when it comes to all people that cause any gaslighting or mental harm to you, is to let people know how you feel, let people know that you will not be tolerating anything less than the feelings in which that you would like to receive, that you know you deserve to receive, right? Which is really just love, respect, and care and intentionality. And if they do not respect and honor those boundaries that you set, then you need to build up a wall between you and them so that way they know not to play with you. So yeah, setting boundaries when it comes to your parents and making sure that you stay grounded within yourself, right? I would say prioritizing self-care, really making sure that you go see, if it's not professional help, then you try to like write down your feelings, record them in a video just like how I'm doing right now, and play it back even for yourself to watch, or talking to a friend, talking to a loved one about it. At least it'll make you feel a little bit more better. Trying to put yourself or involve yourself in any type of activities that will take your mind off of it, or if anything, turn your pain into power. Turn your power into a healing source of rechargeable energy that you can go back and always reflect on, so that way you don't sit and dwell in the past, but we always are focused on moving forward. Okay. Trying to stay calm, especially whenever they break your boundaries. I know that I have had episodes in the past where I have cursed people out. And I'm not doing that anymore because I'm getting too old for that. So trying to remain calm and focusing on your breathing, and remembering that in order to reduce conflict, you really do need to have a positive mindset in order to not add more fuel to fire, right? Focus on being very solution oriented. Definitely do. Okay. try to, because I notice that a lot, especially when it comes to Black families, that we love to provide the solutions and we do not like to actually put the solutions into an actionable plan that is being applied in real timing. We just like to say, like, oh, okay, I don't like that person. Why you don't like them? Oh, I don't like that person because they did X, Y, and Z to me 5 years ago. Okay. And how did that make you feel? Oh, that made me feel, less than, and it made me feel as if they see themselves as superior, whatever the case may be. You go talk to them, you remain calm, you hear their side of the story, and then you find a solution in which you guys don't end up making each other feel that type of way and find ways to communicate efficiently, right? And that's just an example, but really just trying to, again, like I said, remain calm, or really just trying to be solution oriented. I always try to be solution oriented because I never like to leave any rock unturned. Now, if you find that your parent is not being solution oriented, then you need to set that boundary. Okay. And let them know that if you are going to disrespect, again, going back to the first thing I said, if you're going to disrespect my boundaries, then you're disrespecting me. Be calm about it. And then let them know that you will come back whenever they decide to be mature, because we are not dealing with immaturity, especially when it comes to our own parents. And last and foremost, being patient. Emotional growth takes time. It took me a really long time even to find these little strategies in order to navigate my relationship with my mom. It's still not perfect, and I wish that it was in a better place, to be honest with you. But however, it is better than where it was 5 years ago. And who knows, God willing, it'll be better in another 5 years. But really just trying to be patient and know that you have all the tools within you to be the change that you would like to be, but the change is not instant. The change is, um, especially when it comes to family wounds and mother wounds, the change is, it's gradual. It's sometimes slow. Okay. Not all the time the cheetah wins the race. Sometimes the turtle wins the race. And for those who know, no. Okay. It would have been great to have my own biological mother be a maternal force in my life that actually was navigating me towards success and even just supporting me and telling me, that she loves and cares about me as a child growing up, instead of, hearing it now as an adult only because they see you doing better in life and you didn't turn out to be the statistic that, you know, negative people in their mind or even their own demons had told them that you would be. But nonetheless, I'm very, very grateful for the maternal figures that I did have in my life. A lot of them are not here anymore. A shout out to my aunties, shout out to my godmother, shout out to my grandmother, and shout out to my other mom, who is very near and dear to me. And she's still present and walking upon the same earthly plane that we're all walking on. Shout out to y'all, because if it wasn't for y'all, your girl would have been a hot mess and I would have not been present right now. I would have not been able to do a lot of the things that I'm currently doing, that I'm aspiring to doing. I probably would even have the same mindset if I didn't have that maternal force in my life, because I damn sure was not getting it during my adolescent years. And people saw that and people poured into me so that way I can be a full, well rounded woman, be the full, well rounded woman that I am today. And I am forever in gratitude. And I don't want to be emotional about it, but I miss a lot of those women in my life so much. And I feel them with me everywhere I go, and I feel them in everything that I do. So when you put these strategies into mind, it's not going to be painless. It's going to take time. Again, patience. But patience is key, and allowing yourself to feel what you feel is also really key. And to also be in solitude as you're feeling those feelings, because sometimes the way they come out is messy, and it's okay to take a moment for yourself as well. Okay. So that's just me talking about my mommy issues, y'all. I hope that I'm able to touch somebody with my vulnerability and I was able to each one teach one on my little corner of the internet. Yeah, have a blessed one. And I hope that God shines a light of sun on you and you're able to really just power throughout your day with the confidence and the abundance and the stride and what you probably have already in you. Okay. All right. Have a blessed one, y'all. Bye.